Aviation and car mechanic Roger Barr enjoyed popularity in the automobile reality television genre when he joined the TV show Chasing Classic Cars. He wasn't the main star of the show, but his expertise and amazing personality made him a fan favorite. While he could fix almost any bugs on any type of classic car, it was the sports cars from the 1960s and 1970s that were his specialization. Over the years, he developed a reputation for being one of the best out there and gained a fan base during his stay on the TV show. Most of his fans wondered why he wasn't seen again on it after appearing for the past 14 seasons. Roger Barr is an American born on the 16th of February 1936 in New Dorp, Staten Island, New York. It was there, as a young kid, he started his love affair with automobiles. He would often stare at the exotic cars that went to the island, including Packards, Cords, Duesenbergs, and Auburns. He liked the sounds of the engines going around him. His mother would be frustrated each time he came home covered in oil and grease, as he loved to hang out at the local neighborhood garage. Roger was fascinated by the owner of the auto shop named Joe, whom he said would place a glass of water on top of a Packard V12 engine just to see if there were ripples. At around 6 years old, Roger discovered that he had a disorder called dyslexia when his father told him to read the books in the house. He bugged his father with never-ending questions, and so his father told him to discover the answer from the books. He learned how to read, but had a hard time writing the words correctly. When Roger told his parents that he wanted to become an aviation mechanic, his father was supportive and moved the family to New Jersey so Roger could be near Patterson Tech. However, his father told him that he had to be responsible for the $450 tuition fee, so he did odd jobs to save money. His favorite one was babysitting, which at the time paid 75 cents an hour. During his senior year, a teacher encouraged him to get an airframe and power plant and A&P license issued by the Federal Aviation Administration. The teacher made sure that Roger spent 5 hours each working day in Teterboro Airport to qualify for the license, and his hard work paid off, as in 1953, he graduated with an A&P license. After graduation, Roger served in the military and could have been just a regular soldier during the Korean War. But with his A&P license, the military had him working as a mechanic in the U.S. Air Force, and he was stationed in several parts of the world, including England, France, Korea, and Libya. He was promoted to jet engine mechanic crew chief, and finally flight chief. There was a time when he was asked where he'd like to be assigned, and he chose Bitburg Air Base, Germany. It was there that he was exposed to foreign automobiles, which further enhanced his skills as a mechanic, making him more knowledgeable in fixing a wide variety of car problems. His interest in cars wasn't limited to their mechanism, as he also became a car racing enthusiast. During his time off from his duty as an aviation mechanic, Roger joined the Porsche factory sports car team and was assigned as a backup driver, given the opportunity due to his reputation of racing MG sports cars competitively against the much faster Porsches. It was there that his skills as a race car driver developed. He would often say that it's the driver who won races, not the cars. After Roger left the Air Force, he worked for Pratt & Whitney, an American aerospace manufacturer located in East Hartford, Connecticut. Roger spent years helping other aviation mechanics look for an engineering solution to jet engine problems, including how to survive bird strikes. He said their methods then would anger animal lovers today, but they were deemed necessary in those days. He started fixing automobiles because his friends and neighbors asked him to look into their broken-down car engines. Roger then opened his own car shop in 1965 called Foreign Car Shop, which of course specialized in fixing foreign vehicles. But he didn't work on all imported cars, as there was a sign hanging in the window that said, "No French cars." He started to make a name for himself in the Connecticut area, where he met another auto enthusiast, Bob Carini. Bob owned and operated another auto shop, Continental Auto, in their town. They supported each other's businesses by referring clients to each other's shops, depending on the needs of the client. Bob would send foreign car mechanical troubles to Roger, and if body work was needed on the car, Roger would send it to Bob's shop. They were never really close, but they had mutual respect for each other's skills. Aside from fixing foreign cars, Roger also started building racing cars and entered several racing competitions around the US. He eventually won national racing championships in competitions such as Formula V and Formula B. However, Roger started to lose money, so he eventually sold the business to Jean Langen Volkswagen dealership. He then started a career in teaching engineering and served as one of the faculty members at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island from 1994 to 2004, following which he taught for another 5 years at the University of Hartford. When Bob Carini died, his son Wayne took over the business and offered Roger a job. Roger had already closed his own business and was actually at retirement age, but still at 65 years old, he went to work for Wayne's automobile restoration shops called F40 Motorsports and Carini Carrozzeria. They had met when Wayne was 10 years old, and the reality TV star would distinctly remember that Roger would let him sit in his collection of racing cars and watch the mechanic working on great Italian cars, including Ferrari and Maserati. When Wayne was invited to join the reality TV show Chasing Classic Cars, Roger was automatically included in the package. Initially, Wayne was hesitant to do the show since he didn't have any idea of how reality TV worked, but he was reassured by the chief executive producer of Essex Television Group Incorporated that the TV crew would only follow his daily activities as he worked on his usual car restorations. The TV show targeted vintage auto restoration enthusiasts, and Roger's presence added a certain level of credibility and authenticity. The TV show made its debut on the 3rd of June 2008 and could be viewed via several media platforms, including Discovery Channel, Motor Trend Channel, Amazon Prime, and Hulu. It has now been on cable TV for 16 seasons with around 200 episodes and became available in more than 40 countries and territories worldwide. It was one of the most watched auto restoration shows, not only in the US, but also in Africa, Asia, and Europe. If not for the TV show Wheel of Dealers, they would have been regarded as the longest auto restoration show on TV. It wasn't only his exemplary skills as a mechanic that gained Roger a loyal following, but also his sunny and charming personality, which contrasted perfectly with Wayne Carini's serious tone and mood in the show. The two didn't always agree on certain things, but the respect for each other could be seen during their interactions when handling restoration projects. Here are some of Roger's memorable moments in the reality TV show. When Wayne brought yet another Ferrari Dino to the shop, Roger said that someday he's going to find one of these, and Gina Lollobrigida is going to be sitting in the front seat with a smile and big bosoms, and I'll have a stroke. The fans loved his commentary, which didn't always refer to the car itself. Roger made fixing classic cars seem easy to do. When Wayne gave him 2 Jaguars to work on, viewers were amazed at how he could explain the problem and how to fix it in such a way that even those who weren't into cars could easily understand. He also said that the best way to judge if the engine was fixed properly was to put a glass of wine on top of the motor, and if it shakes, something wasn't quite right. His humor made Chasing Classic Cars a bit more interesting than the other auto restoration shows. When Wayne took the Indy car for a test drive on the track, fluid leaked from the motor, but since he couldn't find any source of water, he just continued driving, and it overheated. Back at the shop, Roger examined it and said that the moment Wayne opened one of the valves that were responsible for keeping the air out of the motor, it created air inside it and contributed to the overheating. Roger shared a trick of the trade, which was to fill it with water at a certain angle while pushing the car back and forth with his body to get the air out. As the movement looked like he was rubbing himself on the car, he explained to the viewers that he wasn't being obscene, which made Wayne laugh. After the 14th season, Roger wasn't seen again in Chasing Classic Cars. The producers and even Wayne Carini never gave an official explanation as to why he left the TV show. Naturally, fans were curious and even offered their own theories about what had happened. One theory was that he probably had a falling out with his boss and that Wayne had fired him on the spot. However, according to some fans, that seemed petty and unprofessional considering their history together and the wisdom they gained and imparted over the years. Later on, rumors that Roger suffered medical issues due to an infection he acquired while working in the shop went around social media. Fans' curiosity was apparently appeased, and most of them just wished Roger a speedy recovery. However, when a Facebook page was created just for Roger, mainly run by his wife and son, revelations about what had happened came out. It seemed that there were many half-truths and fake news on social media after his absence from the show. On the 17th of September 2020, Roger said that he'd like to correct 2 things. I have not retired. I kept asking to come back to work and was told no work. In the mail, I received the notice that I was involuntarily terminated. Nobody told him in person or even through a phone call. He was let go just like that. Roger also shared another bombshell. Apparently, through all the years he appeared on the TV show, he wasn't paid a single penny. He shared that someone whom he wouldn't mention pulled a second big lie and further said, "I am not worth 1.3 million. Fact is, I have to work to keep a roof over my head and food on the table. I wasn't paid anything to appear on camera." Roger said that the GoFundMe page that was set up by a superfan of his named Steve Cripps wasn't only a lifesaver, but also a home saver. He also revealed that if he had enough money, then he could have fixed his 2 broken teeth. His fans were upset about what happened and left words of support on his Facebook page. Roger said that he would contact a lawyer so that he could get all his tools back, as most of what they used in the shop were his personal tools, even the huge gas analyzer, which cost him big bucks. Roger is now in his mid-80s, but instead of taking it easy and enjoying his retirement at home, he's still sharing his expertise. When the auto restoration shop, the Paddock's Classic Cars, opened in 2020, the owner, Michael Donnelly, offered him a job as one of their expert technicians, and Roger readily accepted. The company were proud that they were able to secure services and released articles to the media about their acquisition of Roger's more than 50 years of experience. His current boss praised his skills, calling him the problem solver. Michael also lauded that Roger never needed to look at the manual of whatever automobile they're working on. All the information was embedded in his head. Roger was full of praises for his new company, saying, "This is heaven working here. People smile, they talk. We get to work on very old cars, and it's unbelievable." The old man's doing what he's loved to do all his life, and since there's so much backlog of work at his new company, the owners couldn't help but be grateful that Roger's a member of their crew. When Roger's son James was given unsolicited advice from a fan about forgiveness for the person who wronged his father, he replied that his father taught him not to dwell on the past and not to hold grudges, as Roger always preferred to move forward. So long live Roger Barr, and long may his services be appreciated. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.